How much would you pay to change the way you look at public rejection? There are a group of people who embrace public failure, and it turns them into kings and queens of thriving in chaos. There was a time where it was commonly said that the fear of public speaking ranked higher than the fear of death. Well, today there's still a high fear around being publicly shamed, thinking what will others say or how will I look? But what if there was an answer to silencing that internal critic? Well, I think there's a group of people that give us this answer, and that's what I'm going to be speaking about today. Now, before I begin, don't forget to smash that subscribe button to stay in contact and in the loop for future videos I will be uploading. Ever since I was young, I had a love for stand-up comedy, and I admired comedians like Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, Patrice O'Neill, Jerry Seinfeld. Comedians had a way of looking at the world and explaining it to us in a way that brought joy and laughter. But what was even more fascinating to me was how comedians dealt with failure. And by dealt with, I mean seemingly wore it as a badge of honor. See, when a comedian is first starting out, or even after they become established sometimes, they go through an experience called bombing, which is where your show goes terribly wrong and the audience goes silent on you, if not boos you. Absolute public rejection. See, humans are wired to be in community. We crave it so much that solitary confinement is seen to be one of the worst punishments you can do to another human. So what does it mean to get up on stage and face the risk of being rejected by a community night after night? Comedians were able to do something that few other industries have been able to do, in my opinion. They took the stigma out of failure and replaced it as a rite of passage. And why is that? They all bomb. Every single one. They all have shows that go terribly, terribly wrong. Every famous comedian you know describes a torturous experience of failing on stage. Bombing on stage is so common ground that it's almost a rite of passage. The veterans will tell the newbies that you will bomb and it's okay. They created a culture of absolute honesty and vulnerability about the growing pains of comedy itself, so that if you have a bad set, this takes away the feeling that comedy isn't meant for you. How does that compare with your industry? How does that compare with your group of peers? Are your role models open and honest enough about how often they've fallen short? Is failure common ground enough to be seen as a rite of passage in your world? What would happen if you began to see failure as a rite of passage to be seen as the real deal in your industry? Could you replace the stigma of failure with a badge of honor? So that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you picked up some valuable ideas about removing the stigma of failure from your life. Don't forget to comment, like, and hit that subscribe button to stay in contact for future videos, and I will see you again soon. Are your began to see failure? Shit.